is your 2020 NBA MVP favorite? Last year we saw the Greek Freak become the youngest MVP winner since Derrick Rose in 2011, and we haven't had a back-to-back MVP winner since 2016 with Stephen Curry. So who's going to win the 2020 NBA MVP? Could it be a first-time guy like Damian Lillard or even a Kyrie Irving? Or is it going to be somebody who's already won the MVP, somebody like a LeBron James? Could he win his fifth this year? On this journey, I'm going to be predicting my top 5 NBA MVP predictions, and I'm going to be giving you who I think is going to win that crown for the 2019-2020 season. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Welcome back to Journey of a Ballaholic, the best talk show for basketball addicts. I'm your host, General Hannibal X. Now, before I give you my top 5 MVP favorites, I'm going to give you some recent history of the last 20 seasons so we can provide some context to the MVP race. Now, 17 of the last 20 MVPs have been from the top seed in their conference. That's 17 out of 20. But 19 out of 20 of the last MVPs have been at least on a top 2 seeded team in their conference. The only exception to that was Russell Westbrook in 2017, as he was on the 6th seeded Thunder and they only had 47 wins that season, but as we know, that's in large part because he became the first player to average a triple-double since Oscar Robertson. So when we're looking at this list, we're going to be looking at guys who are trying to compete, or teams that are going to realistically be able to compete for a top 2 seed in their conference. Also, keep in mind that the average age of the MVPs over the last 20 seasons is 26.6 years old. So that's going to remove guys like a LeBron James, because the oldest player over the last 20 seasons who has won an MVP was Steve Nash in 2006, who was 31 years old. LeBron James checks in at 34 years old as of today. So we're going to remove him from the MVP race, even though I think he's going to have an amazing season. Also, playing matters. And here, when we look at the top 20 MVPs over the last 20 seasons, those guys played in 86.5% of the games. That's a minimum of 71 games. So when I look at a guy like Joel Embiid, I'm going to have to disqualify him, though I just think he will have an amazing season. The most games he's ever played in any season is 64 games. So I can't expect him to all of a sudden now play 71. Now, it's not saying that he won't do that. I'm just saying for this prediction, I can't put him on my top 5 because he's only played a maximum of 64 games at any point in his career. So let's go ahead and jump into the top 5 MVP favorites for the 2019-2020 season. Coming in at number 5, I've got Nikola Jokic. Now, the Joker is only 24 years old, entering into his 5th season. And last year, he had a career year where he put up numbers of 20 points a game, 10.8 rebounds, and 7.3 assists. And he did that in 80 games, so he's very durable. However, I think he's going to have another stellar season, and I think those numbers are going to jump up just a tad bit. So I'm expecting him to be around 22 points a game, 11 rebounds, and about 7.5 assists. And I think he'll play close to 80 games. However, I don't think that the Denver Nuggets are going to be a top 2 seed like last year. And so because of that, I have Jokic coming in no higher than a 5th on this MVP list. Next up at number 4, I've got Stephen Curry. Now, even at the age of 31, I think that Curry could put up MVP caliber numbers. I mean, you got to keep in mind that Klay Thompson's going to be out for most of the season, and Kevin Durant left Curry to go over to Brooklyn. So I'm expecting Curry to have probably his best statistical season of his entire career. I think he's going to actually do a lot of the scoring load for Golden State, which is why I think he's going to win his 2nd scoring title, as I'm predicting he's going to average 32 points a game, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists. Now, as amazing as I think Curry's going to be, I think what's really going to help him out is adding that D'Angelo Russell factor, because he can play on or off the ball, which is going to help Stephen Curry get easy and open shots. The only problem with Golden State is that I don't have them as a top 4 seed in the West, let alone a top 2 seed, which is mostly needed to be able to win the MVP. And so because of that, the number 4 on this list is as high as I can put Stephen Curry when you consider the top 3 guys that I have ahead of him. Checking in at number 3, I'm going with James Harden. Listen, we all know that James Harden is good enough and he's still young enough to win the MVP. And I even think that the Houston Rockets are going to be the best team in the West as far as the regular season. I got them number 1 seed next year, winning 60 games. So the wins will check out. And I think James Harden has been healthy enough and durable enough to where the games played will be there as well. The only issue I have with Harden is I think his stats are going to come down a bit. Last year, he led the league in scoring at 36 points a game. When you add a guy like Russell Westbrook, who is an offensive upgrade from CP3, I think that Russell's going to carry more of that scoring load. So I have Harden's scoring numbers coming down from 36 to probably number 2 in the league in scoring next year, around 31 points a game. Also, Russell Westbrook is one of the best assist guys in the game, so I think that he's going to facilitate a lot for James Harden, and I think that that's going to lower James Harden's assist total. Gotta remember, Russell's averaged a triple-double the last 3 seasons. So I think from a rebounding, an assist, and a scoring standpoint, I think Harden's numbers are going to come down ever so slightly. So I would predict Harden to be somewhere around like 31 points a game, maybe 6 rebounds, maybe even 7 assists. Still MVP quality numbers, but I just think he's going to be slightly outside of that top 2 despite him putting up an amazing season. Okay, so the final 2 for the 2020 NBA MVP race, I'm going with Giannis Antetokounmpo and Anthony Davis. Now these 2 are very similar as they both are absolute freaks of nature. They both are matchup nightmares on the offensive end, and they both are elite defensive players as well. Now, both these guys are under 27, and I think that they'll both play more than 71 games next year and both be on top 2 seeds in their respective conferences. The differences come in slightly is that I think Anthony Davis has that other bona fide superstar beside him who is a passing and a willing giving up the ball in LeBron James. So I think that LeBron James can help Anthony Davis have a career year, and so I'm expecting Davis to put up 28.5 points a game on 55% shooting, along with the 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 2.5 blocks, and almost 2 steals a game. Now, Greek Freak defenses have started to key in on him a little bit as we saw in the playoffs, but I think he's going to continue to work on that jump shot. So I'm going to still give him 28 points a game, 12 to 13 rebounds a game, similar to last year, also 6 assists a game, while also still being able to give you 2 steals and almost a steal and a half, 2 blocks and almost a steal and a half a game. At the end of the day, I think that the Greek Freak stats are going to slightly be better than Anthony Davis's, mainly because of that assist category. I mean, his ability to be almost like a point forward at 6'11", it's insane, man. And like I said, because LeBron James is going to be there and is going to be taking some of that shine, some of that luster off of Anthony Davis, I think that the fact that the Greek Freak and Milwaukee going to be the number 1 seeds in the East compared to Anthony Davis and the Lakers being the number 2 seed in the West, I'm going with the Greek Freak to become the 5th player over the last 20 seasons to win back-to-back regular season MVPs. Okay, so what do you think? Who do you rank as the NBA MVP for the 2019-2020 season? Go down to the comment section below and let me know who you're going to select to win the regular season MVP next year. As always, I want to thank you for taking a look at this video. Please consider subscribing to the channel. If you do, hit that like button. Also, tap that notification bell so that you can stay updated with the journey of a Ballaholic.